Well, for the next several nights, we're exploring how climate change is setting the stage for wildfires to become even more extreme. Tonight, we look at a national policy going back a century called fire exclusion. The idea was to protect our forests by suppressing all fires. But those efforts have backfired. Here's David Schechter on the dot.
Where are we?
We're on the Bitterroot National Forest.
The guy with the chainsaw is Sean Parks. He's a research ecologist with the United States Forest Service, which studies the science of fire at its lab in Montana. Sean's telling me it's been a long time since regular fires have swept through here. Starting in the late 1800s, for 100 years, it was our national policy to keep fire out of the forest. That successfully reduced the amount of area burned, but over time, fuels built up on the forest floor, smaller trees and dead trees, and those fuels are driving more intense fire. Where are we headed now? What are you looking for?
I am looking for old stumps that will have these fire scars that we're going to sample. You know, we're looking at the scars from inside. Now you can start to see them from the top. That would indicate that the fires that were burning in this area, in this site, were not hot enough to kill this tree and a lot of the trees around here that we've seen.
Research shows indigenous tribes regularly set lower intensity fires in the forest to keep them healthy. These scars from another tree sample show how it lived through fire every 10 to 30 years. 1784, 1795, 1808, up to 1889, around the time the United States decided to put out every forest fire. It was then 112 years before this tree saw another fire, and that one killed the tree. So when you get these fires every 10, 15 years, like you see here, that's a lower intensity fire.
Yes.
But when you wait 100 years and then you get a fire, chances are that's going to be high intensity.
Correct. And now the fires that we're seeing are now killing all or most of the trees.
What's the relationship between the extreme fire that we all seem to be experiencing and seeing more and climate change?
There's definitely a relationship between more fire and climate change. Fuels are now drier because of climate change. And when fuels are drier, the fires burn hotter and they're harder to put out as well. That is climate change and also having more fuels on the landscape due to fire exclusion.
Combination of two problems together.
Both. Yeah, it's difficult to partition them. You can't say it's one or the other. It's both. A lot of these forests are no longer set up well to survive that inevitable fire.